He is
Don't
now
let
at
anybody pull you
100,000
so low
live
as to
viewers.
hate.
Dude, libs are going crazy mode over this, by the way. They're locked in. They're dialed in. They love this. 140,000 on the Associated Press. The one good thing about this, I will say, is that there is appetite for a lot of people that want to see Democrats do something, anything. Now, of course, this is still, you know, it's a optics play in general. And I hope the lessons that the Democrats learn from this isn't make an optics play with no tangible results, but instead to actually recognize that people are very angry. People have a lot of resentment towards this administration, and to organize and to mobilize. I do fear that liberals will only learn the wrong lesson from this.
We need a greater love in this country. We need a greater fight in this country. We need a greater determination. We can't act as if this is normal times. These people's stories that I wrote were calling out for help. Senator, help me. Someone help me. I'm in danger of losing my health care. Someone help me. I'm a veteran. Look what happened to me. It's not fair. I fought for this country. Help me, help me. I'm worried about my Social Security. And the rural office I go to is being closed. Help. People calling out for help. And what Americans do when people are calling out for help, they built an infrastructure. The greatest project ever, called it the Underground Railroad, where Quakers, white folks, joined with black folks to shuttle people to freedom. What did they do when people were worried and fearful? They called people together from across our country. Let's have a conference. Let's go to Seneca Falls. What did they do when they faced violence? Well, look at the people at Stonewall who stood up, who pushed back, who organized, who won. What do they do when the dogs are unleashed on us, the fire hose are unleashed on us? Look at what they did in Selma.
He's loving this, dude.
I'm getting close to a record, folks, but there's a room here in the Senate named after Strom Thurmond. To hate him is wrong.
No, it's
maybe
okay.
My ego got too caught up that if I stood here, maybe, just maybe I could break this record of the man who tried to stop the rights upon which I stand. I'm not here, though, because of his speech. I'm here despite his speech. I'm here because as powerful as he was, the people were more powerful.
Like, the irony is that Strom Thurmond did that for a specific purpose, right? So that, you know, people like Cory Booker would never have the same liberties as white people. Like, Cory Booker's doing this right now in this very moment against no bill, no policy.
I heard about this story when I was in the car in Georgia with him.
It is so...
What did you do, John? This man that so viciously beat you.
Perfectly Democrat Party, like modern day Democrat Party. By the way, Strom was also a Democrat, ironically enough, a Dixiecrat.
Would the senator yield for a question?
Chuck Schumer, it's the only time in my life I can tell you no.
I just want to tell you a question. Do you know you have just broken the record? Do you know how proud this caucus is of you? Do you know how proud America is of you?
This is the throwing themselves on the railroad tracks they promised? No, it's not, because there's no train. No, this is Democrats throwing themselves. This is Cory Booker throwing himself on the railroad track after the train killed like 30 families and then passed by, and he knows there's no new train coming. And it's crazy that, oh God, liberals are eating, dude. Liberals are eating this. We all laughed at him, but who's laughing now? I don't even like Cory Booker, but this is exactly the kind of performance shit Democrats should have been doing when there's more substantial option available. Also, this is why it's nice to have senators under the age of 70. I mean, that is true.
It is not in this moment, but I think the best way to honor this great accomplishment to our guests in the gallery, to make a rare exception and let you stand to show your appreciation, I will not constrain my fellow senators.
Thank you. I'm Chuck Schumer. I have yielded for a question, and you asked me, did I know? I know now. Not quite wrapped this up yet. I don't want to wrap this up yet. My mom's senator. My mom's been watching. I know Catherine Cortez Masto has a podium in front of her. She can give me a rest. I'd like to go a little further if we can, just a little further. I love, and again, I know people are trying to train each other, and all of our media operations, they give the worst images of the people of the other party. But I want to tell you, one of the funny tweets my staff gave me is something Ted Cruz said. He's around 19, 20 hours, he said, maybe I should pull a fire alarm. He's going to break my record. I'm going to pause in a moment.
How is this a filibuster if it's not filibustering anything? Is it just yapping? Yes, it is.
My mother, but I do want to just say again, if I can, one is how grateful I am.
So do you hate this stuff? Because I don't know personally.
When we decided to do this
the only thing
ago,
that I get annoyed by is that Democrats think this is This is a pure optics play, which is fine. I don't have an issue with a pure optics play. But Democrats, like the base, will get really excited at this and will go, oh, okay, you've given us nothing, but we're happy that you're at least like wasting energy. He's not delaying anything. There's no like bill that he is delaying.
My staff really worked hard to not make this just Democratic voices, to make it people in our country, that Republicans and Democrats, you heard mentioned in the speech, the Cato Institute, the Manhattan Institute, all people who are honest arbiters and are saying that what Trump is doing is wrong. That
no, Manhattan Institute is not an honest arbiter. What the fuck is wrong with you? They are literally responsible for Christopher Rufo, DEI, CRT. All of that shit came from the Manhattan Institute. God damn, I hate liberals. Oh my God. You don't have to hand it to the Manhattan Institute, man. Even with Cato, when it comes to fucking immigration, sure, but Cato is a libertarian think tank. The fuck are you talking about?
My cousin Pam and my family, cousin Pam, like Chris Murphy, was here for the whole time. I want to thank Chris Murphy again. I hope you don't look as tired as I look, because you look beat, man. Do I look that bad? No. All right. I want to go a little bit past this, and then I'm gonna deal with some of the biological urgencies I'm feeling. But I'm gonna wait here because I have the power, I have the floor. Somebody has to ask me, perhaps from my mom's state, the way that's supposed to work.
So will the good senator from New Jersey yield for a question?
I don't think it's a net negative. It's a net negative if the Democrats are like, this is the way, which is a filibuster without any real direction, any bill, okay, and just simply an optics play. Then it's a net negative. It's a net positive if the Democrats recognize the popular momentum behind even fucking optics plays like this that causes them to go, okay, we have to resist. We have to resist no matter what. Like, we have to do something, anything. So as it stands, it's a net neutral, I will say. It's positive because at least the Democrats are doing something. Holy But if the lessons that they learn from this, which is likely to be the lesson that they will learn from this, is that we don't really have to do anything. We just have to like optically make moves like this, like make PR moves like this and say Trump is bad. We're against Donald Trump, but never at a moment when they actually have to do it. And I know people are going to fucking yell at me and say, Hassan, you're such a fucking leftist nuisance, blah, blah, blah. Like he is doing something bold and brave or whatever. But you have to understand, this should have happened last week or 2 weeks ago. This should have happened. Yeah, everyone is so proud. This should have happened against the continued resolution. That's where they should have filibustered. A filibuster without a bill that they're stopping is not a filibuster. It's just yapping. I'm not the one homie that's too woke, man. I'm telling you actually what this is. I want to add praise and appreciation for Senator Booker. Hope he's able to keep going. Props to them asking him questions. Thank you, Senator Booker. You're such an inspiration. Yeah, people are that desperate. I look at this. It's symbolic, you idiot. Wait, what?
She died at a time in Vegas when there
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I'm the one who's saying it's symbolic. If it's pure symbolism and the Democrats only go after pure symbolism and not direct action, then it's just symbolism. This is no... In a way, maybe it's not as Herculean of a task of Nancy Pelosi kneeling because she is physically incapable of doing such things, but it is an analog to Nancy Pelosi kneeling with a kente cloth. You understand that, right? That's symbolism. You want Schumer's spot so bad, this has to be at least just a little selfish to push for that leadership spot, right? I mean,
that cuts so dramatically what is one of the best taxpayer investment dollars.
He's not filibustering anything, chatters. He's not. He's just filibustering some bitches, okay? He's not filibustering anything. My analysis of Congress is that every single one of them, even the ones I like, okay, and there's not many, is that they're all a bunch of vultures, lecherous sharks, okay? And therefore, that is the framework that I analyze their movements through. For me, right now, there's a knife fight behind the scenes in the Democratic Party for who will lead the way in 2028. And that's why Cory Booker's been doing this. His own comms team has said that the reason why they're doing this is because they want to dominate, or they want to fight back in the messaging space that has been completely dominated by right-wing sentiment. Now, I agree with that initiative. I think this is something that you have to do. It also has to be associated or tacked along with like real direct action. When you're in power, it has to also follow up with real policy that you can push through. Or when you're not in power, it has to be disruptive. It has to be directional. It has to stop a bill from passing, or the platform that you're using and the messages that you put out there have to be disruptive against the Trump administration's dangerous agendas. A big part of what they were supposed to do in this process is a call to action, to mobilize, to remind people of all of the fucking awful things that the Trump administration is doing in terms of like erosion of due process, attacks against colleges, attacks against education across the board, attacks against law firms, which he briefly mentioned as well. Outside of that, it just turns into a circle jerk.